It's October 31st, Halloween night, which means for most of us it's time for dressing up, trick-or-treating, and getting the living daylight scared out of you with no end in sight. You know the drill. However, for a certain, unnamed Midwestern town, it's a night of true terror and turmoil, where boys are locked in their rooms days ahead of time, and then set loose in search of the October Boy, or Sawtooth Jack. A pumpkin-headed scarecrow filled with that delectable Halloween candy, who reanimates every Halloween night in search of safe haven within the town's church walls. But there's a catch, as you well know. The winning teenage boy who successfully stops and kills Sawtooth Jack will receive all the spoils, enough money for a comfortable life, and a chance to leave this godforsaken town. However, if the October Boy should win by getting inside the church before the bell tolls midnight, then the whole town would sink into hell itself. This is the premise for Norman Partridge's Dark Harvest, a town horror novella designed to evoke that nostalgic Halloween spirit. But just how successful is the book at this goal, and how does it approach such a far-fetched yet nostalgic idea? Well, spare me 2 minutes of your time, and you'll know by the end whether or not this book is the right fit for your spooky season, TBR. Continuing with the story components, I'd say that this novella features many great ideas such as surprising twists and some memorable action, as well as a unique story structure which consists of 4 parts. We don't get all the answers to every mystery in this story, and those lingering questions can certainly add to the unsettling atmosphere this book provides. However, it also makes the ending just shy of being fully satisfying, in my opinion. There are many points of view within this book, and while I enjoy the town horror vibe, some do feel more like distractions than exciting next chapters. And given how short the book is, one has to wonder if any trade-offs between minor and major points of view might have benefited the story. However, I think this is just an unusual case where padding the word count would have actually helped instead of hurt. And yet, despite these shortcomings of lingering mysteries and shorter page length, I'm shocked yet thrilled by how some reveals actually added to the stakes of this world, making the book much more intriguing and the consequences even more compelling. There's a certain shift about halfway through the book that changes characters' perceptions and perspectives, and thus throws the reader into chaos alongside them. And all the while, the pacing is nearly flawless and coupled with an amazing voice that's fresh and unique, yet also reminiscent of classics such as Needful Things. In truth, this book often feels like it could have been a heavy hitter in literature if only its story was fully fleshed out. Which brings me to the lowest downside of the entire novella, its characters. At the end of the day, the price of spectacular voice, premise, and smaller final word count costs the story in terms of all character development. They're all filled with cliches and specific moments which fulfill that trope checklist, and while they're executed well enough considering, it's hard to say they're anything special or even just above average. Lastly, as for the setting, I really like the originality of certain world elements, the line, the October Boy, and the Run being prime examples, while also incorporating familiar elements from stories like The Hunger Games, The Long Walk, Lord of the Flies, and Wayward Pines. But I must say that the scares were too far and few between for my liking, especially given the great monster at hand of Sawtooth Jack. Again, this is where extra padding might have benefited. We simply don't get enough October Boy on the rampage within this book. Furthermore, while the town has a great political component to it with the Harvesters Guild, I thought that entire plotline could have been fleshed out more and wrapped up more smoothly. All in all, considering this is a short read that also reads quite quickly, I'd say that you are missing out if you ignore this novella. The prose is beautiful and well thought out, the story is concise and yet packed with potential, and both the setting and premise will put you right into that spooky season mood. You won't fall in love with any characters, but in my opinion, you don't need to enjoy this story. There is plenty here that makes this a worthwhile read. And for these reasons, I'll be rating it a very solid and technically strong 7.5 out of 10. I hope you enjoyed this 2-minute book review, and if you're sold on picking this bad boy up, I look forward to hearing your thoughts on it down below in the comments section. They did release a movie adaptation last year, but it got a pretty underwhelming response. I actually watched it recently, and I definitely have a lot of questions myself. My advice, stick to the book, it's much better, and might just become a yearly tradition for many readers out there. But as for now, that's it from me. I want to thank you for tuning in and sticking around. I hope to see you all at the next 2-minute book review.